quick headlines on this Monday morning. First up, Demi Lovato breaking her silence after being hospitalized for a drug overdose a couple of weeks ago. The singer saying on Instagram she's taking time to focus on her sobriety and recovery. Lovato ending her message with, quote, "I will keep fighting." All right. And a former NSYNC member is saying bye, bye, bye to dreams of owning the Brady Bunch house. Yeah, Lance Bass isn't going to buy it. He says a Hollywood studio outbid him, even though he claims he was told he won. Winning bid has not been revealed. The exteriors of the house were used in nearly every episode of the Brady Bunch that ran from 1969 to 1974. That is the real interior, not seen on TV.
Wow, that's pretty. That's a pretty room. Give it to Lance. He wants it.
Someone else bought it. Sorry, Ainsley.
That's so cool.
All right, Brian, over to you.
All right, Ainsley, we'll follow that story throughout the show. I'll continue with this one. Hey, the Trump administration having near unprecedented success confirming nominees to the federal bench. Now, 1 in 7 federal judges are Trump appointees. What impact will this have on an ever-evolving judiciary down the line? Here to break it down, former law clerk himself to Justice Gorsuch, who went on to bigger and better things, and director of the National Security Law and Policy Program at George Mason, Jamil Jafar. Jamil, great to see you.
Hey, good to be here, Brian.
Well, what an impact he's made already, right? Let's begin. Here we go. This is compared to other presidents. Yeah. President Trump, a year and a half in, has got 24 opportunities. He's filled them.
It's really unbelievable. I mean, that's an average of 17 a year. What that means is that by the time he finishes his first term in office, he'll have as many as President Obama in 2 terms, almost double.
Right. And this is all just about opportunity. They just coincidence. They happen to be open at this time. But then you got to get them confirmed. The Democrats have been delaying, but they can't deny.
That's right. And Mitch McConnell's done a really good job. Chuck Grassley's really kicking butt out there. And they're pushing this ball forward. But the president's really got the responsibility. He's nominated these folks, got great nominees, and they're real rock stars. And they're able to get through the Senate and make it to the judiciary.
So what does it mean in terms of a ratio? 1 in 7 of the judiciary, these judges in the circuit court will be Trump appointees.
Yeah. Well, look, this is really important. It's all about the stability and the rule of law here. Average Americans will know how the law is going to be for them because they'll have judges who interpret the law in line with what Congress and the president wrote, not with what they want the law to be.
So that's the big worry. That's what Democrats feel as though there is sometimes Republicans accuse Democrats of legislating from the bench, and in theory, Republicans don't do that.
Well, exactly. You know, Justice Gorsuch said, judges need to know that they wear robes, not capes.
That's a good line, by the way. Did you give it to him?
No, that was his.
Okay, good. Trump's judiciary legacy so far, the average age of he or she, 49 years old.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is a young judiciary. They're on the bench for life. So these folks are going to be there a long time. People like Britt Grant on the 11th Circuit, Mike Scudder on the 7th Circuit, Andy Oldham on the 5th Circuit. These are all very young nominees, under the age of 50, up there for a long time.
And now here are the ones in the bullpen right now, waiting for their time for confirmation, which Senator Schumer's holding out. You got 10.
Well, look, the Democrats are holding them up on the floor. They're making the Republicans run the entire 30-hour post-cloture clock. It's really unfortunate because you've got a huge lineup of nominees, not just judicial nominees, but tons of Trump nominees just stacked up behind these. But Mitch McConnell's doing the right thing and getting these lifetime appointments on the bench.
Right, and the whole thing is, which is ironic, is that they have to work in August because Mitch McConnell's saying because you keep delaying, I'm going to make you work in August. Last year there was a big deal to stop the bottleneck. I'm wondering if there might be a big deal now.
Well, one can only hope. Obviously, members of Congress want to get out of town, back to their districts for the elections. But at the end of the day, they've got to get the nominees through because these are really important judicial appointments all the way for life.
And you got to get to George Mason because school's going to start soon.
Exactly.
Jamil, thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Brian.
All right, coming up straight ahead, President Trump warning the Democrats that there'll be a blue wave. Yeah, but he believes that blue wave will be crashing.
If the Democrats get in, they're going to raise your taxes. You're going to have crime all over the place. So why would that be a blue wave? I think it could be a red wave.
We'll see as early as Tuesday to get an indication last special election. We're breaking down the numbers that could spell trouble for Democrats and might not. Plus, bookstore cashier, tour guide, and diversity peer leader, one school hiring students to fight social injustice on campus. Seriously, that story next.
UCLA is paying students to fight social injustices on campus. The program, the Diversity Peer Leaders Project, it's hosted by the UCLA Intergroup Relations Program. The group set of the program, DPLS, facilitates small group dialogues between students on divisive issues that really matter to campus climate, issues like race relations, cross-cultural communications, and more. So what exactly are these issues, and how much are students paying to fund the program? With us right now is campus reform correspondent and UCLA student Arik Schneider. Arik, thank you so much for being with us. What do you think about this program? Is it necessary at UCLA?
Well, I don't feel like it is necessary. Currently, many of the programs that UCLA already provides, many excellent programs, already cover most of the things that this program is supposed to solve. For example, there's the issue of sexual assault. We already have many programs that receive hundreds of thousands of dollars to combat that issue. We also see issues like racism and sexism, things that, again, this program apparently claims to cover, but is already addressed through other programs. It's just a waste of student funds to address the leftist agenda.
And you have to pay this, right? It comes out of your pocket. You work hard. You have to pay $1,128 in student services fees, along with every other person on your campus. And that money is being spent to hire these diversity peer leaders?
Exactly. It's our money going to programs that we just don't support. It's another example of the administration taking our money and using it for things that not a lot of people want. It's something that Campus Reform has reported on. It's something that your own show has covered many times, where college administrators decide to take mandatory student funds and use it to advance their own personal causes.
What would you rather do with your money?
Personally, I'd rather give it to the engineering department so they can buy more equipment, give it to the anthropology department so they can discover more cultures, give it to the biology department so they can develop cures for various diseases. All things which actually improve the world, versus funding what are essentially social justice warrior echo chambers and luncheons, things that no one who actually cares about the world is going to attend, and things that you don't really see make much of a difference.
Well, kudos for you for really investigating this, because college students generally just pay the bills. They don't really know what the money's going toward. How did you find out about this program, that your money was going to be used for this?
Well, actually, I found out about this program because UCLA was nice enough to publish it on their website. And then some other people at Campus Reform actually brought it to my attention. But yeah, kudos to UCLA for at least being honest about it. Unfortunately, we've seen too many times where college administrators don't tell students that their funds are going to support leftist causes and progressive causes until it's too late to do anything about it. But at least this time the administration was very upfront, and they said this is where your money is going to.
Unbelievable. All right, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. 11 sick and malnourished children rescued over the weekend from a heavily armed New Mexico compound. Sheriffs say that the men running it might have Islamic extremist ties, and it might not be the only compound like it. Plus, the economy is the issue Americans care about the most, according to the polls. So why are ideas like this becoming so mainstream?
Health care is a human right and not a privilege.
I campaigned on hard commitments of Medicare for all.
A terribly violent and bloody weekend in Chicago.
Between Friday and Sunday, 63 people were shot.
Incidents of either random or targeted shooting is totally unacceptable.
If the Democrats get in, they're going to raise your taxes. So why would that be a blue wave? I think it could be a red wave.
They've lied to us for votes. They took our money based on certain lies. And people want clearly what the president has promised.
Twitter slams on the brakes after suspending the account of conservative commentator Candace Owens.
Twitter apologized to Candace Owens, saying that the lockout was just an error.
It doesn't seem logical that when they come up with a new algorithm, it only seems to affect Republican conservatives.
The surprise of a lifetime for a Massachusetts police officer making his final radio call after 32 years of service. The voice on the other end, his son.
It is my honor to acknowledge this Code 5, to set free a man who has sacrificed so much of his time for all of us.
You can come home.
What do you say you come on over? 'Cause when you tell me to come on over, I like the sound of that.
That just proves you never grow up. That's everyone who works at Fox News out there on the tilt-a-whirl.
All right.
Or what do they call them? The teacups.
Right now out in New Jersey, they're having the state fair, and it's this time of the year toward the end of the summer when so many counties and states have their fairs, and so we thought we would celebrate with our own version out on our plaza. If you're walking by 48th and 6th Avenue, Sweet Talk, one of the guys running one of the rides, and maybe you could be in the teacup.
These are the writers for Bill Hemmer and Sandra Smith show. They're going to be a little bit off this morning. Their delivery is going to be, I think so. A little bit. The teacup thing was probably invented with the first fair, and we have never really pushed it to made it more sophisticated.
I think teacups came from Disneyland originally.
You mean original
Disney had the idea, and then now, of course, you see them all across the country.
Some things are just good never to change.
Really?
Yeah. Just stick with tradition.
Like a carousel, hop on the horse.
It's hard to go wrong with that when you're a kid.
This is true.
Right.
Have you been to Disney World lately? I haven't been there yet in a long time. Has anything changed at Epcot? Like, is it still Space Mountain?
They still have that big golf ball, the silver golf ball.
I think everything has changed dramatically. One of the big things that they just got is Toy Story Land.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
where you sit there for hours to get in.
Tell me It's a Small World is still there, though.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah. Small World's gone. Isn't
I think it's still there.
I think you're lying.
It's still there. Here's the thing. Disney World you got to go to. The state fair, the county fairs come to you, and today we're bringing the fair to you as well.
Right. I'm sorry if you're on the line for Small World, if it is there.
Some expert.
All right, President Trump predicting a red wave in the midterms ahead of tomorrow's special House election in Ohio.
The president is confident that Republicans can ride out his accomplishment this fall.
Well, the president is actually on a working vacation out in New Jersey, and Rick Leventhal is standing by. He's not on vacation. He's working this morning. Good morning to you, Rick.
I am indeed. Good morning to you, Steve, Ainsley, and Brian. Yesterday was hot and sunny, and the president is on vacation. We suspected that he might be playing golf. Last night, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders confirmed it. She said the president hit the links with Senator Lindsey Graham. She says they discussed national security and trade. And the president was also very active on Twitter yesterday, writing about the California wildfires, tariffs, fake news, and the upcoming midterms. And he wrote on Twitter, presidential approval numbers are very good. Strong economy, military, and just about everything else. Better numbers than Obama at this point by far. We are winning on just about every front, and for that reason, there will not be a blue wave, but there might be a red wave. On Sunday, former Senator Joe Lieberman disagreed.
I will say that my prediction today is that it's going to be a blue wave, a Democratic wave, not a big wave in the House. Democrats retake the House if the elections are today. My guess is that the Republicans hold the Senate, but it's going to be close.
On Saturday, the second day of the president's working vacation, he flew aboard Marine One from Bedminster to Morristown, where he got on Air Force One for a short hop to Columbus, Ohio, for his third campaign rally in 5 days, supporting Republican candidates in key races. This time it was for Troy Balderson, who's locked in a tight battle with Democrat Danny O'Connor in a special election this coming Tuesday, that's tomorrow, for an open seat for the 12th Congressional District. Historically Republican, the president won there by 10 points in 2016, but the polls show Balderson ahead by a single digit.
Whoever has the White House, that party tends to lose the midterms. I don't know why. Maybe it's complacency. Maybe you all fight so hard for the presidency and, you win and you're a little complacent. But you got to get out and do it. You got to get out and vote. You got to get out because they want to take away what we've given.
No public events on the president's schedule today, just a dinner with supporters that is closed to the press. Back to you guys.
All right. Yeah. Rick Leventhal live in suburban New Jersey with the latest on the president. Rick, thank you.
Steve, you would know better because you're from that region. But I hear when the president...
New Jersey?
Yes. I don't want to give out your exact state address.
And by the way, speaking of regions, down at Disney World today, Small World opens at 9 o'clock and runs till 10 p.m.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm looking at the
Is this the last day?
This is there. No, it's ongoing.
I said, Brian, there's no way it closed. And he goes, no, something closed. I go, there's thousands of rides.
So I just wrote to my friend at Disney, and she's I'm sure going to write me back. Real quick, in New Jersey, I hear when the president goes to this club, it drives the Secret Service nuts because he interacts with people. They're like, the president's here, and people are in the pool right downstairs, and they're not used to that with a president.
Because apparently his cottage is right next to the pool.
Right.
It's interesting
So
you say that.
if people are doing the lunch thing out by the pool, apparently he just walks through.
He enjoys that. He enjoys going up to people and shaking hands. And we saw that at all those rallies. He would spend time on the floor shaking hands with everyone, where you don't have to do that. You can, get out of there quickly. I had to give a speech one time, and the guy said, we had the president here one year, and it was time for him to come on stage, and we were trying to, slow walk the introduction. We're like, where is he? Where is he? And he said, we go outside, and he's like backstage talking to all the kitchen staff and introducing himself and shaking hands with them.
Wow. All right, so you've got the President of the United States. He's saying over the weekend there might be a red wave ahead of that stumping out in Ohio. If there is a red wave, clearly one of the main drivers of that would be the fact that thanks to the Republican Congress, where they have reduced our taxes significantly for middle class in particular, and the corporate tax rate has gone from 35 to 21%. The GDP this last quarter was 4.1%. The economy will be a big factor if people come out and vote Republican.
Right. I'll add to this, too. With the Balderson appearance yesterday, John Kasich said, I asked Balderson, why do you have the president come out? Because I thought you were more of a Kasich guy. He goes, no, the president called me and says, I'm coming. So, fantastic. I don't know why John Kasich thought it was necessary to out Balderson, but he actually did that.
I think he's an anti-Trumper.
Right. I'm getting that sense. I also would add this to the economy. The one thing the president and the Republicans or Democrats have to not overlook is health care. Because of the rising costs, that devoid of Obamacare or anything else, just by the system itself, all the money that we're saving in our paychecks because of tax reform, a lot of it's going to health care. So we got to somehow address that issue.
And that is the number one issue that Democrats are running on. They're saying, look, now the Republicans are running Congress, and look how high my rates are.
Well, when it comes to unemployment, I mean, if you look at the numbers, it's pretty amazing. If you've ever been without a job, it's very stressful. So this is wonderful for our country. 2008, the unemployment rate is 3.9%. Y'all, this is the lowest for a July of a midterm since 1966. Look at that graph.
So if the economy is one of the reasons people go out to vote red, you can thank the tax cuts and things like that. However, Tammy Bruce, who says while the president has done a good job, Congress needs to do more.
They promised the wall, just like they promised to repeal and replace Obamacare. So this is why there's such a low approval rating of Congress, that they've lied to us for votes. They took our money based on certain lies, and people want clearly what the president has promised.
Like the wall.
So the president had the big tracking poll that come up, put him at 50%. The Wall Street Journal poll had him between 45 and 50%. The economy's going strong, but people just say that, historically, the president, after he wins, after his first 2 years, takes a pounding in the midterm. So he's got to somehow buck history. The thing that could help him buck history is what the Democrats are doing and what they're running on. And it is this socialist platform.
Yeah, yes. It's becoming the norm. It's becoming the norm. It's becoming mainstream. Listen to this.
Republicans are going to call us socialists no matter what we do, so we might as well give them the real thing.
Health care is a human right and not a privilege.
I campaigned on hard commitments of Medicare for all, tuition-free public college, ensuring a Green New Deal for our future.
Right, $31 billion is Medicare for all, and not many people high-five when they have not many trillion, excuse me. I keep forgetting. But not many people high-five when you get Medicare. I mean, it's not the best.
Well, one of the reasons so many people on the Democratic Party are talking about socialism now is because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had that stunning win, and who had energized everybody in the last election? It was Bernie Sanders. Rick Harrison, who you've seen on this program, he's the star of Pawn Stars on cable. He says the fact that we are talking about socialism right now in America is mind-boggling.
Look on some of these news channels. These people supposedly have a college education, and they're touting socialism, which to me is just sort of mind-boggling. I mean, obviously you cheated a lot. And but socialism it sounds so great, though. That's why people, embrace it. The government's going to pay for everything. It sounds great, but, economically it can't happen.
See the American dream, and he talked about watches. He says, you know, the whole world invented watches, but it was America with this business climate that was able to take the watch, mass produce it to the fact that we became the best watchmakers ever. That was in the 1850s. And then he says, look at me. He didn't have a high school education. He didn't go to college. He applied for a business license in a week, and he got it, and he made it on his own. He goes, you're not going to have that if you have socialism.
Right, but if you don't have anything, and somebody's offering free college, free health care, free everything, that is a very tantalizing prospect.
But if you didn't learn in school how when you don't have anything, the way to acquire it is not to get it by by having it handed to you, but by earning it.
But it's impossible. Do you know what we learned in school? There's no such thing as a free lunch. Remember that in economics?
Yes.
It's true. You got to work hard for that cheeseburger.
All right, 7-Eleven now in New York City, and it's time now for a Fox News alert.
Or meatless cheeseburger.
Veggie burger.
Veggie burger for you. Worked real hard for that.
That's called a bun.
No, it's not. We got to talk in the break. Good morning. We have a Fox News alert now, and we are still following the story in the search for Molly Tibbetts and a possible new clue. A neighbor in Iowa exclusively telling Fox News she saw a suspicious black SUV the night Molly vanished. Fox News contributor Ted Williams speaking to Iowa hog farmer Wayne Cheney about why he is refusing to take a polygraph test.
I asked him with some specificity, why won't you take the polygraph? And he said, no. I said, well, don't you want to help out there? And he said, yeah, but no, I'm not taking the polygraph.
Cheney's property has been searched multiple times, but he claims to know nothing about Molly. We will keep you updated on the latest. 5 people are dead after a plane crashes in California in a mall parking lot. Dashcam video showing the moments the small plane heading to the John Wayne Airport southeast of Los Angeles came spiraling down. The pilot declared an emergency just before the crash. Everyone on board was killed. No one on the ground was hurt, and the cause is being investigated. That's a look at your headlines. I will send it back to you.
Oh, man. All right. Thank you very much.
11 people sick and malnourished children rescued over the weekend from a heavily armed New Mexico compound. And sheriffs say the men running it might have Islamic extremist ties. And our next guest says it might not be the only compound like it.
Plus, Warren, 2020, the big hint she just dropped about her future. Some magazine says she is the front runner. I swear.
There's so much that we share.
17 minutes after the hour, 11 sick and malnourished children rescued over the weekend from a heavily armed New Mexico compound built mostly out of, get this, garbage. Sheriffs say the men running the so-called compound may have Islamic extremist ties. Our next guest says it might not be the only compound like it. Here to weigh in is national security analyst and Shillman Fellow at the Clarion Project, Ryan Morrow. Ryan, from this compound in the middle of nowhere, the FBI had it under surveillance. Why didn't they move in? How ultimately was it uncovered?
Right, so this is really an amazing story. So I have Muslim sources inside of a community that knew about what was going on, where a child had gone missing. The father was accused of abducting the child, and the accused kidnapper is the son of a radical imam in Brooklyn. We don't know that the imam was involved, but that's how I learned about it. And then it turns out, where did he flee to, believed to be with that child that he kidnapped, meaning his son that he abducted, ends up being near the New Mexico-Colorado border, and this very remote area with lots of guns with his friend. And now we know that there were 11 kids there, 3 women. And when I talked to law enforcement sources close to the investigation, they said this is basically a 10-acre compound terrorist training camp with Islamic extremist ties. They said it definitively to me, and they indicated that they believe that this is part of some broader radical Islamic movement. They wouldn't say what group or movement they think is part of, but they made it pretty clear to me, not just a couple of guys hiding out.
The sheriff's office department told you that?
Yes, sources, law enforcement sources involved and aware of the investigation.
What makes you think, what makes them think that this is a widespread situation, that this isn't the only compound?
Well, the reason that they went in, even though the FBI said we don't have probable cause yet, and they had it under surveillance, and then the state and local police said, all right, we've had enough. What triggered that was that there was a message intercepted going to Georgia from that compound that somehow got in the hands of the police where they said the kids are starving. And when they raided that compound, about a 10-acre plot of land, they were just shocked at the condition that the kids were in. And I've got to tell you, from studying this type of radical Islamic movement, there are other groups. This has been going on since the 80s, this Waco-type jihadist movement. One group that I've talked about a lot on this program is Jamaat al-Fuqra, that has these Islamic villages, as they call it.
And the FBI, for some reason, they have not disclosed yet, was just watching, not moving. The sheriff's department said, I've had it with the watching. I'm moving.
So brave.
We don't know what's going on.
Unbelievably brave.
Yep. Ryan Morrow, thanks so much. Keep following it.
Sure.
All right. Straight ahead. 10 killed, 63 shot in Chicago. It happened over the weekend. Can anything be done to stop the bloodshed? Dan Bongino, a former NYPD officer himself, his message to Chicago cops coming up straight ahead. And a New York Times writer says he's heartbroken over seeing kids at President Trump's rallies. Our next guest brought her kids to one. What does she think about that?
Of America. It's a high school prom, it's a Springsteen song, it's...
All right, time now for some news by the numbers. First, 2.8 million. That's how many people have dropped off food stamps during the Trump administration. The latest USDA report shows just over 39 million people are still, however, on the rolls. Next, nearly $5 million. That's how much taxpayer money may be blowing in the wind in New York State. The state has yet to fix 4 windmills off a highway, according to the Buffalo News. Problem is, the manufacturer no longer makes the parts, so they can't fix them up. And finally, 6,000. That's how many people ran in the annual Run for the Fallen relay, honoring our nation's heroes. Runners started in April at Fort Irwin Army Base between California and Nevada, ending at Arlington National Cemetery. And that's some of your news by the numbers, Ainsley.
Great, good deal. Thank you, Steve. A New York Times writer says that he is heartbroken. Why? Because there are more and more children attending President Trump's rallies. In a new op-ed, Damon Winter recalls the 2016 rally that he attended and wrote this: I remember being heartbroken that children were exposed to this anger. We're learning from it and participating in it. I was searching for a way to connect in an environment that felt so toxic and violently polarized. Well, here to weigh in on this is a family that did attend President Trump's Leesburg, Virginia rally, Suzanne Obetz, and she's a member of Virginia Women for Trump, and her daughter, Perry. Thank you both for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Suzanne, I'll start with you first. Why did you think it was important to take your child to a rally?
Well, my husband and I thought it was important because there was so much negativity in the news at the time about the Trump rallies and about how people were being violent and protesting, and that's really the only thing that we were being shown. So we thought it was important to let our kids decide for themselves what was really going on. We didn't make them go. We didn't force them to go like they would go to school. We absolutely said, let's go and see for ourselves, and then you can judge.
Perry, I know you attended that rally in 2016. He went on to become President of the United States of America. You got to witness history. Why was it important for you to be there?
I think it was because of all the people that showed up and about how calm and peaceful it was.
And Suzanne, what did you think about this op-ed of someone saying that it's wrong for parents to take their children there, and he's heartbroken when he sees kids at these rallies?
Well, over-exaggerated might be a good word. I was, again, put into the position of we are being labeled and put into a box in a category such as deplorables or whatever the phrase word is of the day. And it's just another swipe at a large group of people who are just simply supporting our president. And to put us in a category, in a box like that, it's insulting.
And you don't regret taking your children, do you?
Not at all. And actually, we can't wait for the next one.
Perry, what did you learn from that experience?
I think I learned about what Trump was going to do as a president.
And have you been able to take that into the classroom? Have you talked to your friends and your teachers about it?
Yes.
And what do you say to them?
just about my experience and what I learned.
What do you say to this writer, Perry? Do you think that, I mean, did it benefit you, or do you feel like you were harmed by going to this rally?
It benefited me.
Okay. Well, Suzanne, what's your message for the president? What do you love about him?
Oh, everything. He's done so much for our economy, and he's stuck by everything he promised us, and I cannot wait for another 4 years for President Trump.
What do you say to the critics who say, you know, he does call people names, and, you know, this writer is saying we shouldn't expose our children to that?
I say that you have to listen to the bigger picture and the bigger message. He's doing so much good for our country, and you have to focus on the good things and not the petty things that are just there for argument's sake.
Okay, Suzanne, Perry, thank you so much. You did a great job.
Thank you so
Perry,
much.
you have another check on your list. You saw the president, and now you're on national television. Good job. You have a bright future. You're welcome. Thank you both. Well, when a liberal journalist tweeted it, it was okay. When conservative Candace Owens did it, the social media site shut her down, and Dan Bongino is going to react to the double standard there next. And after signing off for the very last time, that police officer right there got a big surprise, the surprise of a lifetime. Who was on the other end of that call? Stick around, we'll tell you.
It is my honor to acknowledge this Code 5, to set free a man who has sacrificed so much of his time for all.
And colluded with Russia. You have Congressman Adam Schiff was on one of the Sunday shows yesterday, and this is what he had to say.
I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy in plain sight. Now, that's a different statement than saying that there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt of a criminal conspiracy. Bob Mueller will have to determine that.
Danny says the evidence is right before our eyes. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, listen, guys, this is one of the few times I agree with Adam Schiff. The evidence is before us. Collusion was very real. Hillary Clinton did 100%, her team collude with the Russians. And by the way, so did Adam Schiff. I don't know if you've been watching Hannity or listening to his radio show, but he plays this tape all the time of Adam Schiff. No one's denying it's him on tape. Guys, on actual tape, trying to collude with what he thought were Russians to obtain compromising material on the Russians. Guys, everyone watching this, that actually happened, okay? We also know that Hillary Clinton paid through a law firm, eventually Kremlin-connected sources, to gather information on Donald Trump. Collusion is very real with Hillary and the Democrats, and we should demand a full and accountable investigation.
Right. Hey, Dan, did you see that Paul Sperry, the investigative reporter, has suggested that the president in the next month will declassify 20 redacted pages from the FISA renewal, so people will finally see whether or not the entire investigation was based on lies and the phony dossier.
Well, did you notice, Steve, how that was the liberal media talking point? Oh, the really damning information about the Trump team's in the redactions. And then when Devin Nunes, the Republican who's actually seen the information, came out and said, okay, let's put that information out there. Yeah. Everybody got real quiet. That information in the redactions, I can guarantee you, is even worse than the dossier. That's why the media's calmed down on it.
And Rod Rosenstein signed off on that, so maybe we'll get some answers there. All right, Candace Owens, you know her. She is a conservative activist. She works with Turning Point USA. She was really appalled by some of the tweets from New York Times editorial board member Sarah Jeong, who wrote some anti-white tweets, her hatred for white people. So what Candace did is she took those tweets and she replaced the word white with the word Jewish and the word black, trying to prove a point about a racial double standard, because the social media went crazy, and then Twitter suspended her account. They later said, I'm sorry, and allowed her account to come back up. But it was suspended for 12 hours. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, Twitter should just be honest and admit they're just a Democrat propaganda platform. I mean, I'm on Twitter because you have to be. There's really not a viable alternative. They did this to me, too. They prohibited me from running ads. I'm still banned from running ads. They never told me why. I think that the reason why Candace got into trouble and I got into trouble on Twitter is not because we said anything wrong. It's because in ours, we were wrong. We were conservatives. And it's a Democrat platform, and they should just come out and say it. I mean, I know they're trying to make some subtle attempt right now to reach out to conservatives, but guys, the damage has already been done. This is a propaganda platform for liberals, and you know, they've been hiding it or trying to hide it for a long time. And you ever notice how they always say it was an error, but the error's always conservatives, it's never liberals. I mean, it's just a complete joke.
Yeah, they put it back online.
Do you think that Congress should get involved?
No, I mean, being candid with you, I'm a libertarian, and Twitter's a free company, and they're free to make stupid decisions. Unfortunately, they've taken us up on that offer repeatedly. But no, it's a free company. They should be able to do what they want. And when a good alternative comes up, we should all seek it out.
Yeah, Darrell Ice indicated that maybe they need to be regulated, social media.
But Dan's not a fan.
I don't agree.
All right.
No.
Mr. Bongino, thank you very much.
Thanks
Dan. For joining us from Palm City down in
Good to
Florida
see you
today. All right. Thank you.
All right, Jillian has some more headlines for us. Hey, Jillian.
That's right. Good Monday morning, and we're following a story out of Oregon right now, so let's get you caught up on that. 4 Antifa protesters are heading to court after demonstrations turned protesters. The city's police chief is now calling for an investigation into reports of officers using excessive force. Elizabeth Warren just keeps on hinting at a possible 2020 run, this time branding herself as the underdog.
In America, every family deserves a fighting chance, and we are ready to fight as hard as it takes, as long as it takes, to deliver on that promise.
President Trump has said running against the liberal Massachusetts senator would be a dream come true. So stay tuned. Dramatic body camera video shows police officers saving an unconscious man inside a burning car after it crashed into a pole in Atlanta. Wow, officers frantic to pull the driver out after failing to douse the flames. The man inside the car will be okay. One officer walked away with minor scrapes. And the surprise of a lifetime for a Massachusetts police officer making his final radio call. The voice on the other end, his son.
It is my sincere pleasure to announce, after 32.5 years of service, my father, Southbridge Police Officer Dwayne Ledoux, is retiring and has given his final Code 5 to set free a man who has sacrificed so much of his time for all of us. Officer Ledoux, badge number 1041. Dad, you are officially Code 5.
Love you. He did come home.
Oh, the officer's son flew across the country to be there for his dad on his last day. Isn't that incredible? So sweet.
I am amazed he was able to keep driving. I would have had to have pulled over.
Yep. He wasn't expecting it. It sounded like his son told him, I'm not going to be able to come home. Dad, he said he was able to come home.
There you go.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Jillian.
All right, 18 minutes before the top of the hour.
These 3 Democratic socialists want universal health care. How are they going to pay for it? Well, by hiking up income taxes up to 70%. Stuart Varney thinks that's a big mistake, and it's going to cost Democrats in the midterm. Stuart is next.
Right, hopefully he'll say more than that. And it's our Fox and Friends Fair live in the plaza. Adam Klotz is shooting basketballs, I understand.
Let's see.
Good morning. Back with your headlines, and how about it? Chase Elliott celebrating his first career NASCAR win by being pushed into the victory lane by teammate Jimmy Johnson. The first-time winner ran out of gas as he crossed the finish line. And an American teacher sets a new world record for rowing solo across the Atlantic. Bryce Carlson going from northeastern Canada to England in just 38 days. He completed the 2,000-mile journey despite his 20-foot boat capsizing several times. The previous record was 53 days. Incredible. Steve.
He's brave. Okay, thank you, Jillian. It is one of the most popular rallying cries of the Democratic Socialist agenda. Medicare for everybody. The plan, which includes free health care for illegal immigrants, requires massive tax hikes in an already highly taxed state like New York. Income taxes could soar, reportedly, to as much as 70%. Stuart Varney, host of Varney & Company on the Fox Business Network, joins us right now. So, Stuart, if the New York state taxes, which is where we are right now,
yes,
soared to 70%, what happens?
Well, they've got a single-payer proposal. Everybody gets this single-payer government care, including illegal immigrants. The cost of that is so astronomical that to pay for it, you've got to raise income tax rates through the roof. It will reach a top rate of 70%, all taxes included, if you live in New York City. The result of that, I would imagine, would be a gross slowdown in your economy in that state and an exodus of people leaving the state to get to places which have much lower tax rates.
Sure, like Texas and also Florida.
The thing has to be, you have to make the point, though. The Democrats believe that this free health care is their best strategy for winning in November.
Right.
The Republicans have got a strong economy. The Democrats will give you free health care. That's the choice that you faced in this election.
Ultimately, it comes down to who's voting. If you don't have anything, you're going to go for, I want the free stuff.
Yeah, but I have to believe, though, that when the astronomical cost of these free services, these free health care and free college, when that is truly understood, people will walk away from it, because you can't afford it.
Stuart, the president over the weekend in Ohio predicted there could be a red wave. If there is a red wave in the midterms, in large part, I would imagine it's based on the economy. And the Wall Street Journal, the lead story right now is how profits are soaring at big U.S. companies. Profits, S&P 500 companies jumped 23.5% in the second quarter.
The immediate response to that kind of news, massive profits at American corporations, is to say, well, wait a minute, why don't we take some of that money and give it to poor people? Why don't we pay for free college and free health care? Why don't we do that? Well, the secret to these huge profits is that that fuels growth in the economy. That fuels capital spending, new computer systems, new plant, new equipment on the part of business, which expands the economy, expands jobs, expands wages. You know, you're now at the position where these profits are so strong that you're about to get Amazon, Google, and Microsoft close to being worth $1 trillion, just like Apple is. That's a success.
They say that these companies are thriving because of the tax cut. You put a big tax hike on them, probably going to go the other way.
And that's exactly right. They would go the other way.
Stuart, we're going to be watching for you over on Fox Business in an hour and 10 minutes from right now.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, straight ahead, President Trump warning the Democrats their blue wave could be crashing. We're going to break down the numbers. There could be trouble for the left coming up. And it's fair season, but you won't have to travel